Gord, one of the perks of talking about the Leafs constantly or any team for a long time is you say everything and eventually you may have a good idea. One of them that's come up on this show is like, boy, the Leafs forwards are pretty good defensively. I think it's Sam who was saying, who's the worst defensive forward on the Leafs? And to me, you don't have to answer that specifically unless you want to, Gord, but I want to know your thoughts on maturity. And is it that these guys have been through the battles? They've seen what it's like to lose in the postseason and what costs you. Could all this experience, this awfulness, be contributing to their success now?
I wouldn't doubt it. And you're right. I think, Austin Matthews every year has improved his two-way game. Playing center in the NHL at 19, that's a big task. McDavid did it the year before. He did the next year, and every year's improved. Mitch Marner's getting a lot of deserved credit about being a great two-way player. You always knew John Tavares, did things on both ends. But I think to your point, Justin, that, in other years, and I thought they really did it against Chicago last year when it looked like that they were going in the sewer once again, almost like when Babcock got replaced by Keefe. I mean, they were a loss or two away. And I liked what this young group did as leaders that kind of stopped the bleeding there, turned it around, and you never looked at, is the season going to be a disaster? But the regular season also, except for that all-Canadian division year, has never been as great as you think it can. And I just think every year, you're bringing in other leaders like Joe Thornton or somebody else, and Wayne Simmons and all. I like that this leadership group seems to have seized the moment about what it takes, what they have to sacrifice, what they have to, give as a team, and whether they play consciously as individuals or not, they're doing less of that. And I think year after year after year, that always something lacking at the end. They've really bought into this in this particular case.
So you are one to believe that compared to even last year, and there are comparables here. They had terrific Novembers. They had one of the hottest goaltenders in the league, Jack Campbell last year, Matt Murray this year. But you are of the belief that this one feels different this time.
Yeah. Absolutely, Kippy. I go back to when Joel Quenneville was coaching Chicago, and they got that start, and maybe it was Matthews and Marner's second year. I'm not sure, and Tavares had just come, or whatever. I'm just trying. And Joel just said, "Man, this reminds me a lot of my guys many years ago before we won 3 Stanley Cups in Chicago," and never quite got the same. It was like this great rock tour in October and November, and then never quite the same over a regular season. Never a complete 82 game package. And I've got that mojo again. I know in the All-Canadian division, the closest was when they won in Edmonton 3 times with 3 different goaltenders, right, and almost had 3 shutouts. They just fell 1 shutout, 1 goal game. They got let 1 goal against. But even then, because it was probably the weakest division out there, it just didn't seem to prepare you better to be able to hold a lead in the playoffs that year. And I think in this case, this is really doing the trick as far as trying to become more playoff prepared, as far as this, as far as seizing what Joel Quenneville talked about all those years ago, and I haven't seen enough of.
It's really tough when things are going well like this to project where the problems will be and make changes to get out ahead of them. You almost have to wait and let things play out. With the goaltending situation right now is a great example. Matt Murray looks like a world beater right now. He looks like a guy who's won Stanley Cups. Do you see something in the way he's playing that, I guess, brings you back to his old form? Do you have the belief that this is sustainable, or, goalies have blips in the NHL? Where are you on his play so far?
Yeah, because Justin, it's funny. You remember, and Kippy remembers well, like how many years ago was it? Leafs had that run, and they were playing Carolina, and it's like, in the playoffs, don't bring Matt Sundin back. Everything's fine, okay? Carl Pilash on defense. Hey, don't tinker with stuff. Nathan Dempsey, just this is the future, and so you can get a little bit, out there when you take this ride and not break it down. Like, hey, Justin, what if Matt Murray plays ordinary against Dallas? We're not talking about the other things. They're down 2-0. Basically that one power play. Dallas should have scored probably 3 times. They should have scored a shorthanded goal when the Leafs gave them all the 2-on-1s and the 3-on-1. So in a lot of ways, that changes completely the narrative of that game. So, Yeah, if you start getting substandard goaltending, you're in a hell of a problem. Now, what I like, I always use the word, Justin, deportment. I don't know, there's an intangible about looking at a goaltender. They have different styles. I understand that, but whatever their style may be, I like the presence or deportment, whatever. And that exactly is what Matt Murray is reminding me of, the guy that played so well in Pittsburgh, the guy that killed it in the American Hockey League, this prospect I didn't really know about, but then you couldn't ignore with his stats in Wilkes-Barre all those years ago. And so that's the part that's been really encouraging. Now, will he remain healthy? We got to hope he does. I think we were skeptical how quickly he got hurt, given that's been what's his track record the last couple of years. But boy, and again, no excuses. It's not, oh, well, give Matt Murray time. He's new. He's just coming off injury. He needs 2 or 3 games. No more excuse. When you win, you overcome injuries. You overcome other things. You don't make excuses.